I'm Tom from Do-It-Yourself Home Automation, and this is a look at the Similac Pro Sensitive formula. This is the pre-mixed formula for infants. So with any kind of formula, the first thing you want to do when you're selecting one is to talk to your pediatrician. And they should really be the first line in terms of deciding what is best for your baby. So you want to check in with them. You want to see if you need Pro Sensitive, which is for kids that might have a lactose sensitivity or another sensitivity to different kinds of formula. Check with your pediatrician, get it cleared first. But if they say that your child does need a lactose, something that's compatible with being lactose sensitive, then this is definitely a really great option. And I've used probably thousands of these bottles over time. And I like the premix. This is the 2-ounce size. I like this because it's super easy. You don't have to bother with mixing powder. You just open this and you're ready to pour this into another bottle, or even attach the nipples that usually come with this and feed directly from the bottle. I usually like to pour it into a different bottle, but it's really easy to take it if you're traveling, if you're out in the car, to put it in a diaper bag. This doesn't need to be refrigerated. You don't need to reheat it before you're using it, as long as it's sealed. So you can put it in a diaper bag. It's great for late night feedings if you want to put some of this in your nursery and be able to feed your kid without having to do the mixing of powder and everything. It's also great if your baby is very sensitive to the textures of foods. Because it's pre-mixed, it comes as this liquid, so you're not having to mix in a powder and have that kind of graininess. I think some kids, that can be troubling to have that graininess in the formula, and you really have to mix it well. But as long as your baby is okay with drinking formula that is not heated up, you can feed this at room temperature, and you just twist the top off of the formula bottle here. You want to check that the seal is good. So if this is damaged in any way, and particularly if this is popped up, this metal part on the top, then that means that the seal is breached, and you definitely want to throw that away immediately. So you can see here it says ready to feed. You don't have to dilute it. In fact, you should not dilute it by adding water. Shake it, obviously, before you start to use it, because some of the stuff can precipitate out and end up at the bottom. And then the two options here, you can either attach the single-use nipple and then throw the whole thing away. If you want to do that, it does come, usually it's come in a 4-pack with a nipple. And then to discard 1 hour after feeding begins. So once you use it, you can't put this back and use it again later. You should get rid of it within an hour, because once your kid starts to feed from it, you get bacteria and things that can get back into the formula and start to grow, and you don't want that. Similac in general, I find, is a really high quality formula. Of course, check with your doctor before you use any formula, but I like that it has all of these different special ingredients and things, and it just seems like a good quality of food for your kid. Again, just check in. This is, if you see on the back here, contains milk and soy ingredients, so it's not 100% lactose free, I don't believe, but again, it does work well, in my experience, for kids that might have a lactose sensitivity. Another couple of things to note: it is halal and kosher, so if that's something that's a consideration for you or your family, that's a really helpful feature to have with Similac Pro Sensitive. Downside on this, it is more, it's harder, I think, in some ways, to have this individual bottle where you have to be constantly throwing these out. It's not as eco-friendly because you do go through a lot of them. This is recyclable. You can recycle the bottle, but you do have to throw a lot of them out. So if you like to have more of the eco-friendly, or you want to make larger quantities of formula, this is just 2 ounces, you go through a lot of them, then you probably want to opt for the powder and do the premix like that. One final thing to note on here: look at the expiration date. Make sure that you're still within the expiration date before you go ahead and use this. I love it. I think it's super convenient, even though it's small containers. If you do recycle it, it's still relatively eco-friendly and just a super easy formula to feed.